Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien sitting in for Paul Harvey here on the morning of October 31st, 2022. Stand by for the rest of the story. Well, Paul Harvey did this story back in the 1960s. And the rest of the story is called Extremism, Absolutism, and Close-mindedness. Extremism meaning that you only see what you want to see and nothing else is valid. And there's a lot of things that happen over the centuries with this extremism. It's happening in the U.S. right now between the pro and anti-abortion people, the pro-Trump, the anti-Trumps, because they think their way is the only way. And in some cases, both of those ways are terrible. But this is in relation to one thing. It involves one item that was an inconsequential item when you add it up. But it became the biggest item of the 20th century. And two people who saw it differently and finally understood, maybe, but definitely came to a consensus and it got done. Whether they embraced it, they're both dead and you can't know. I don't think they ever told anybody. And here is the story, and you make it out, Americans and humans, whether you understand it. It goes back to 1942. There was a movie being made, but it had some stipulations that the composer of the songs involved in the movie had creative writing, so nothing could be changed without his approval. So the cast came in, the conductor came in. And mind you, this is 1942. World War II was almost a year old. And when this project would have been released, it would have been a year old. And it would have been during the holidays. Okay? So the movie in question was called Holiday Inn. The composer in question was a small little composer, not much of a voice. And the actors they were minor actors for the most part, except for the singer. He was a well-respected crooner at the time, which would become the American Idol. And they started doing the rehearsing. And then came the one song in the movie they were going to do. The movie was Holiday Inn. Yes, but before you say anything, the story goes on. The composer sang, and the crooner that was supposed to sing it in the movie listened patiently. The problem is, the singer never learned to read music. Okay? Most of you don't know that, but he never read music. He never read sheet music. He did it by ear, same as I learned music. I never learned how to read notes or anything, but I could use my ear and replay anything I heard. He could sing anything he heard. And believe me, when the composer started singing this song, he would make you cringe. And that's what the people of the movie would tell you. They were cringing. And towards the end of the song, they noticed that the croner was cringing himself, but not because of the bad tones and the off-key singing of the composer. And to you Americans, here is the question I ask you. The story is, Holiday Inn, the movie. And the best thing that movie produced, of course, was that one song. It wasn't supposed to be anything but a little thing that went with it. It turned out that the song is remembered, the movie is not. White Christmas. The composer, Irving Berlin, and the singer, Bing Crosby. Now, Bing Crosby would refuse to do this song. And they were doing a rehearsal for it, and the showrunners were doing everything they could to get the composer out of the situation. So they told him to leave, and he did, but he came back and secretly hid in the flowers and shrubbery that was done in there. So he was in the plants. He was a plant. And that's Irving Berlin, by the way, okay? And why was the reason that Bing Crosby wouldn't dare do it? And you gotta ask your questions, why did Irving Berlin do it? You had two extremists here. Irving Berlin was a Jewish descent, and he considered himself Jewish heritage 100%, and to his death, he would tell you that in 1989. On the other hand, you had Bing Crosby, who was a Catholic. And as a growing up Catholic, I can tell you that if you have a Christmas song without Christ or any other mention of Christianity in it, it was a sacrilege to Catholics, and to some it still is. The same with the Jews. It would have been a sacrilege. And Irving Berlin was probably crucified by a lot of Jewish organizations for doing White Christmas. Because it was supposed to be Christianity. And there's nothing Christian about White Christmas. It's just about Christmas, which is not a Christian holiday. It's a human holiday. Bing Crosby sang it anyway. Irving Berlin did it and composed it anyway. And to me, it's the best song I've ever heard here. Because it's a Christmas song. It has nothing to do with Jewish. It has nothing to do with Catholic. It has nothing to do with any religion. It's a humanity song. White Christmas. And it came out at about the time that you needed it to be, because you had people at war all over the place. And they embraced it. It made Bing Crosby the guy he became. It made Irving Berlin a big guy as far as composers are concerned. And all to do because of two extremists looked themselves in the heart and did it anyway. Because extremism does not work. It's the humanity that works. And I hope that both of them, even though they're now in their graves, understood that. Do you, Americans? No. This is your favorite alien sitting in for Paul Harvey. Good day.